Welcome to Uncontained, episode 24. I'm your host, Aaron Static Render, and on the show today, we have Tucson-based band As We Watch Them Fall. I speak with 4 of the 5 members today. I speak with Sean, Adan, Marshall, Andreas, or aka Teddy, and unfortunately their bassist Abdul couldn't make it on the show. He had to do something like work, which, you know, that always sucks. But I really had a great time talking to the other guys in the band. Everything just kind of flowed naturally. It was a little less like an interview and more just hanging out, talking about music and crazy shit that they've done on the road or pranks that they've pulled on each other. I would like to thank Alex Best. You may remember him from episode 17 of Uncontained for setting this up and letting us use his studio. The guys from As We Watch Them Fall are currently in Alex's studio, Elastic Labs, recording their upcoming CD, All We Have. Before we jump into the interview, I'm going to hook you up with an Uncontained exclusive of one of the tracks off of that CD that they haven't even finished recording yet. This is Lady Lush. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing great.
How you
Awesome.
Great. Thank you for coming on the show. And let me just go through the lineup here and introduce yourself for our listeners.
I'm Sean Mallett. I'm the vocalist of the band.
I'm Andres. They just call me Teddy because it's easier. I play lead guitar.
I'm Marshall. I play rhythm guitar and clean vocals.
My name is Adan, and I play drums.
And every other instrument.
I play drums and write the music.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And your bassist wasn't able to join us today, correct?
Yeah.
His name's Abdul.
Yeah, Abdul.
Abdul. All right, and he's the newest member to the
Yes.
band, right?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
He's working a lot right now, so.
All right, and how long have you guys been together as a band?
It's been since 2012.
Well, Marshall's been in the band
Well,
since
yeah.
2012.
Yeah.
Marshall's the only
The
remaining
band name has
original
been around
member.
since 2012. I'm literally the only original member.
So Marshall is As We Watch Them Fall,
Yeah.
and we are The Fallen.
All right.
Well,
Has there
technically,
been
the
a
band
lot-
members that aren't in the band anymore are the Fallen. So that's good.
There you go. That's
Because they
one way
have
to.
fallen off the lineup.
Yes, and who's the next to fall? No, don't need to,
No.
don't need to answer that.
Hopefully nobody.
Marshall.
No, we're pretty
Yeah,
solid
Marshall.
right now. This is
Marshall will be the next one.
This has been the best lineup we've had ever.
So has there been a lot of lineup changes recently?
Actually,
Not recently.
Not recently. The most recent person we lost was Seth, our old bassist, but not like that was hard to replace, honestly.
Yeah.
Like immediately Abdul was like, "I'll do it."
yeah,
He's originally a guitarist, but he plays the bass pretty well.
So
yeah,
He's
he's
one of
Okay.
those guys that kind of just plays guitar and is like, you know what, I'll do bass because I play guitar.
yeah.
But you know what, it works. Dude's a
Yeah,
guest bassist. so
he
it's
just wanted
great.
to play music, and he's seen us way before because I've known him for over 10 years, and yeah, he's like, dude, he kept asking me, he's like, just ask him, he's like, I just just for a fill-in and whatnot, and I brought him in, and we just asked him, he's like, if you were to dedicate yourself, you can be a part of this, and he's like, yeah, and that's pretty much how he came along, and we've gigged him a couple shows with us, and he's been doing pretty good so far.
That's basically what I aim for, and I'm pretty sure what the rest of the guys aim for is basically people who are dedicated. That's why a lot of the members in the past aren't in the lineup anymore, because they either weren't dedicated or they were just bad news, and one rotten apple's gonna rotten the rest of them.
Yeah. Do you guys find it hard to find quality people who are dedicated enough to being in a band? 'Cause
Absolutely.
I imagine it's hard getting 5 people together in one room at any time just to perform.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
No,
It is incredibly difficult finding members with the proper skill level, the proper knowledge, and the proper dedication. It's definitely not something that you can easily find in just anybody who, quote unquote, is a musician, because people will call themselves musicians and play guitar a little bit here and there. But if you're a musician, then you understand the music and you're able to contribute musically to your band, which is something that we all strive for here. So that's something that's very important and something that's not easily found. So we're pretty happy with the lineup that we have right now.
All right, great. And as a band, do you have multiple musical influences per member, or do you guys pretty much draw from the same inspirational pool?
I think genre-wise, we kind of draw from the same pool, but artists
No,
No, dude.
no, Marshall.
Dude,
you
we're
are
all
totally-
very
yeah.
different
We,
spectrums.
to be honest, we
Yeah,
are all coming from different places.
Yeah,
Me,
yeah.
I'm more of an older type of hardcore, early 2000s type of stuff. Glassjaw, Let Live, anything that's it's not heavy, but it's kind of wild. Marshall's more into modern post-hardcore. Woe Is Me.
I'm into
Shoes.
everything, honestly. I'm into acoustic
Adan is into
stuff
freaking
and-
deathcore breakdowns.
Well,
It's not
crazy
necessarily,
technical
it's he
shit.
gents.
I'll
It's
speak
Jen.
for myself on this one,
Yeah, no-
actually. So, so musically, things are a little bit different for me because I didn't originally get into metal. I'm actually I started studying classical music in high school and started playing in a jazz band and started doing all these things with all these different musical instruments, and eventually discovered metal and was like, you know what, this is really complex and this is really musical and I can really dig it. So that's actually where the metal influence came from, is usually just from jazz and classical music. So that's kind of interesting. It's something people don't necessarily know about me right away, because I do like the really shreddy, techie, heavy stuff and all that really ridiculous crap. But yeah, definitely classically influenced. So I'll jam John Mayer or Infant Annihilator,
fucking love John
Beethoven,
Mayer.
and it'll be great. So.
And some people might say that bands that have multiple members with different genre backgrounds as far as their influences are bad, but it's actually a good thing because you can incorporate that and make it something like beautiful into like one song or multiple songs.
We all kind of
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy just because we all like have so many different ideas and it's like how you were saying earlier, like getting 5 people together. It's really hard to get all of our ideas incorporated, but like we somehow just kind of make it work. Like it's tough, and like I know it could be a pain in the ass, but and also just like having Adan, with his musical knowledge, he makes things like come together so much better. Because like with me, like I love like older metal. I grew up on classic rock, like listening to a lot of Led Zeppelin, Kiss, Leonard Skinner growing up, then got into Pantera, and then just I started listening to like newer like styles of metal, which was like August Burns Red, The Devil Wears Prada, Oh Sleeper, and that just kind of changed the game for me. And then just now, like I love a bunch of acoustic stuff. Like I just recently got into this Wildlife a lot, the kind of like post-hardcore, but they have a lot of acoustic material. It's just kind of sad, but I don't know. It's just we all have a wide influence of what we like and what we draw inspiration from, whether it's from heavy to like soft acoustic music. It's just gotta have the variety.
And I think that's great because if everybody in the band has like the same influences, all the songs over time will sound the same. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, no.
It's
That's
good
exactly
to
what
draw a
we
little
avoid.
from here, draw a little from there, draw a little from there, pace it together, and come up with something new.
I'm gonna be honest.
This album that we're gonna be releasing hopefully soon is it's definitely diverse from the last album that we released.
No, it has a very different styles of songs. Like with Lydia, you have all like the orchestra, like going on in the background. And it's like not much guitar wise, but then you have Adderall, which you guys already heard. It's heavy. It breaks down really good, but it gets very melodic at the end. And just we have a bunch of good heavy stuff, and very bright melodic stuff, and some actually we're gonna have like 2 really soft songs on the album as well. So
Okay, cool.
To paraphrase, diversity is good.
yeah.
Yes, diversity is good. I actually heard about you guys through Alex Best. I interviewed him on episode 17,
Dude fucking
and
sucks.
he gave me a. I know, what a dick, right?
That's the fucking prick.
But he gave me a track of yours to play a sample of off your upcoming album. Your new album's called All We Have, correct?
Yes, sir.
The track that he gave me was At Her All. And in that track, there was like drastic differences in the types of music in that one song. Like, you had the melodicness and then like the dredgy metal in it as well. I tried to grab a section that showed both of those, but after that, I was like, I kind of want to have these guys on the show. So right there in that one song, it kind of shows the diversity of the band.
That's great. That's
Definitely.
exactly what we strive for. Every song on this album is going to sound drastically different from the last, and that's exactly what we want. I mean, we don't want to be seen as like a local Tucson band, because there's plenty of bands in our scene that are doing similar things, and I mean, I totally get it, but what we're trying to do is really just stand out. And of course, you're going to hear that from people all the time. Like, people are always going to say, yeah, we try to be our own thing and try to be different from everybody else. But I mean, this is something that we really want to focus on and really want to accomplish. We don't want to sound just like any other band, and we want to have this diversity where we can be a musician's band and have musicians listen to us and be like, oh shit, these guys know what they're doing, as well as people can be singing along and just
Jumping
listen,
around.
just listening to the music and have a great time. So
We're trying to get the best of both
really
worlds.
we want to reach as most people as possible. We have a message that we want to promote. We have things to say, and people are going.
What
to
is that
listen to us.
message?
Well, a lot of us have a. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and let Sean talk about this, because he's the one that writes all the lyrics. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna hand it off to him.
He's a very good lyricist. I love him.
So the message we're trying to send out on this album, this whole idea, is basically we wrote. Well, what I did was I kind of wrote a song, like each song to tell a story, to basically create the whole album. Adan, Marshall, and Andres wrote all of the music, because I have little to no instrument experience. I mean, I can play it, but I'm not great. So I left that to them.
Okay.
And when it came to lyrics, I used a lot of stuff that we all can relate to. Like, it's gonna sound cheesy as shit, but a lot of our songs are based off relationships, whether it's like with your friends, family, girlfriends, and then there's a lot of stuff that involves self-conflict too, like depression, anxiety, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's kind of like hidden in the messages in the songs. So the whole album in order tells a story, basically about how I feel, about how Marshall feels sometimes, about how Andreas and Adan and Abdul, we all feel at times. And I would send them the lyrics and ask, for their what they think of them and how we should change them, and approval, and whether they can relate to them. And we kind of all agreed on some of the stuff, and we kind of mixed it together and made what we have now on this album. And I'm really excited to show a lot of people what we've created on this beautiful piece of art, I guess we can call it.
So you said it tells a story in the album. So would you consider this more of a concept album?
And wouldn't consider it a concept album because it's a story, but it's also not like a direct story. Like, it's a story for me. It's a story for how shit I've gone through like in my life. But other people might not exactly see it that way. They can hear a song and relate in a totally different way, and that's kind of how I wrote the songs. Like, I relate to them in my way, but when somebody else hears it, I wanted them to relate to it in their own way.
Just have their own perspective.
We have a song on the album called Apparitions, which is one of my favorite songs on the album, and it's definitely like one of the most feelsy ones on there.
Probably gonna be the best song on the album.
Yeah, it's
probably my favorite.
And the way I wrote it was, to me, it's about loving somebody, being in love with somebody that you can't necessarily be with, and watching them love somebody else. Again, it doesn't have to be, directly about that to somebody else, but for me, that's what I wrote about.
But that's something that everybody can relate to too, I'm sure.
Exactly. Like, everybody's been in a relationship where it's been bad, and everybody's, I'm sure they've had to watch somebody they love somebody else, and that's one of the worst feelings in the world.
Yeah. And when people come up to you and ask, like, what are songs about, do you typically tell them? Or is it like you want them, like, because I know a few musicians who don't want to tell people what it's about. They ask, what do you think it is about? Because they don't want to change the meaning of the song to that person.
I definitely ask what they think it's about first, and then I kind of give my idea of what I wrote about. I don't tell them the whole idea. I just give them like a basic summary of it.
Usually it's pretty straightforward anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think any of it's too...
My grandparents have.
Usually sometimes before we play the song, we usually say what it's about.
We do.
Okay.
Yeah. Sean and I actually had to work pretty closely together when writing this stuff because a lot of it is very emotional and does have a lot of feelings. So like he was talking about with Apparition, he obviously had some very intense feelings that he wanted to write about, and I had to kind of match that with basically just all the music in that song. So interestingly enough, the lyrics and the music are supposed to go together pretty cohesively. Like we have a song called Lady Lush, which is just aggressive and pissed off and fucking heavy as shit all the way around.
It's a big fuck you song.
Yeah. So that one was, I mean...
It's important to have those.
I wrote that song in maybe like 5 or 6 hours, but it's really just a heavy song, and it doesn't sound like it was written in a few hours. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, dude, because when you brought up that first half, and just like, because I remember just like when we were putting it all together, just it came kind of naturally at that point afterwards. Like it was there. It had like with that first half that you put out, it was very solid at that point, and it just kind of came like just fell into place. It was like
that one was real easy to write.
Yeah, it's fun though.
But
it's
the idea is that lyrically it should match up with the music, and that's something that's kind of important because, I mean, if your shit's completely unrelated, then it's just gonna be like, well, what are you trying to do here? Okay, we're trying to make you feel something. So when you hear it, you're already subconsciously feeling a certain way, and then once you pay attention to the lyrics and you actually listen to what's being said, you can feel that a lot more intensely. That's what we're striving for.
Do you ever like intentionally mismatch the lyrics to the music, like kind of have like a metal song with all like touchy-feely lyrics, or vice versa?
We have a song called Lydia, which that song is
Yeah.
super butt
Really
fuck
heavy.
heavy. Like, it's really good song.
Yeah.
But what I wrote about is not necessarily a heavy topic. Like, it has a hidden message in it, which Adan questioned me on it, and I kind of told him, he's like,
let's let people figure that one out.
he's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, I remember Sean, like, Sean was tracking vocals for this song, and he came out of the vocal booth, and I was like, so what do you mean by this line? And he tells me, and I'm like, well, shit, okay. So that's interesting, so we'll let people figure
Totally
that one
off
out.
But
That
it's
one's kinda interesting.
it's definitely one where it has no singing in it, but it does have lyrics that are like, oh, well, it's kind of nice. But then you think about it, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? This
shit.
is creepy as shit. What the
Yeah,
fuck
no,
is he
dude.
doing?
And just like that song, there's a lot going on. There's so many accents, and it's like, it's nice. It's a great song that you'll just have to sit down and like really like, savor it. And it's, I don't know, just with this whole album, I feel very confident with it.
Definitely.
Just because I don't know, I've never had this experience like where I've connected with so many other people on a different level. It's incredible, you know.
Yeah. I'm glad that the guys, they all think about this way, because when I originally started the band, it was to make the music touch people's hearts to where they can relate to what the song was about. So I'm glad that the lineup that we have now, they still continue to think about that thought, because there's some bands out there that just make songs just for the hell of it. And they're like, oh, this isn't meaning anything. Yeah, like Attila. Regardless, their music is good. I'm a fan of them, so I'm not like putting them down or
I don't
anything.
give a
But
fuck. I will still jam to it.
Yeah,
definitely,
dude.
yeah.
I don't give a shit,
Dude,
guys.
Attila's like a band that you just listen to when you're just like, wow, I'm bored. I'm gonna listen to some Attila because I
Yeah.
feel like being heavy.
Dude,
But
like-
we're trying to write stuff that people listen to when they're like,
I really want to think about
I want
something.
to get really high and think about my life. That's basically
I
what
know.
we're trying to get.
Okay. All right. So, switching just a little bit of subject. Do you guys tour a lot, or
We're
are
trying
you mainly
to.
just playing the Tucson area right now?
We've played Tucson a lot because it's our hometown. We played Phoenix a couple times, and last year we did have the coolest chance. We kind of went on like a little 2-day tour, a little 2-day run, I guess. We got on the All Stars tour for a couple dates, and so we traveled to Cali and played a festival with all the bands on the All Star tour, and then traveled back to Phoenix the next night to play another show at the Nile Theater with them, which was pretty much sold out.
That was
So
scary.
We got to play with them. That was the most people we ever played in front of before. It was crazy.
What bands were on that tour?
Upon a Burning Body, Dance Gavin Dance. I
Within the
wrestled up there.
Ruins.
Oceano, Chasing Safety, Skylit Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. Like, cause like the doors opened early because there's 2 openers, and literally there's like about 300 people in there. It was like what the fuck's going on, dude? It was like, and it was just so weird because like I was in the back and freaking Dance Gavin Dance. We're just all chilling back there, like just saying what's up. I was like, dude, this is weird. I was like, I felt so out of place because it's like it's something I was like I'm not used to, and then just. When it was our turn to go on stage, I saw like all the heads in the crowd, and I was like, "Oh shit, dude!" I was like, "This is real." And then like being like upstairs at the Nile, because we played the underground a couple times, which was always fun. It's like they have a small stage underground, which gets intense. But then you go upstairs, and it's just a big room, and there's just like 300 people in there, and it's like, dude, it's like, what the fuck? And then just the sound's huge. It was like a brand new experience, and we actually had movement out there, which was fun. Like it was. It was great, and like people enjoyed it. Like I talked to some new faces afterwards. Our set, it was awesome.
Treasure Fest was definitely
Right.
an experience. Regardless, the show being not really our best show, it was still fun to tour to California.
Oh, it was
Yeah,
hot.
And we got really sunburned.
Got to experience a heat stroke.
Dude, literally like
Where'd you go in California?
Witter. It was Witter.
It was Whittier. We went to Whittier, California, and played at this stadium type thing. And they had a bunch of stages. It was kind of like a mini Warped Tour, mini Warped Tour, but they had a
Yeah.
bunch of stages set up. It was a festival. All these bands were playing. There was a shit ton of people there, probably thousands, throughout the day, not all at once. And so
That's got to be awesome.
it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah, no,
cool.
you wouldn't believe it. It was actually the most bullshit show in the fucking world.
It was awful. Like there was people got ripped off. They got gypped. It was bad. So
Yeah, I
but
know.
we played and we had a pretty good hit going, even though we sounded like complete shit because our sound guy was just some
Dude,
Oh, yeah,
literally-
we had like 10 minutes to set
Dude,
up or
like
something.
we set up in like 5 minutes, set up and sound checked. It was ridiculous. Like
It was really bad. I mean, this was also last year when what was it? I-10 was
Yeah,
was
when
closed
the-
down. So
yeah,
we had to take I-8 all the way up to like Los Angeles area from Tucson.
which is an
And
extra hour.
It was
or so.
it was about a 10-hour drive, and we got there, took a nap, and then had it be like at the stadium by like 10 a.m. or something the next day, which was complete bullshit too. Ended up playing at like 2:30, I believe, and we're on this like small outdoor stage, like this little fucking piece of shit stage.
Dude, I fell down.
Oh yeah, Teddy fell. That
with
was
the
interesting.
Rent to Sound guy.
I mean, I'm getting off the stage. After
What
the
does Teddy
performance.
play? Teddy's not the drummer, is
No,
he?
Teddy's the lead guitarist.
Yeah, no, it was.
Okay, I was gonna say if the drummer fell off and landed on a drumstick, that'd be too
No,
bad.
dude,
Don's the drummer.
No, it's yeah.
It was literally like in the middle of a breakdown, and like I was gonna stomp, but like I rolled my ankle, and I like fell back, and I was like, oh shit! I was like, what's going on? And then like I see Seth at the time and Sean, and they're just laughing at me. I was like, oh shit! But like,
I was cracking up.
yeah, dude, I didn't. It's cool though. I didn't miss a note, so it was okay. I just went with it.
Hey,
Like,
no, he kept on playing. It was pretty solid. Seth helped him up when he was able to, and then Teddy totally redeemed himself by jumping into the pit during a breakdown, which
Dude,
was
there was
cool.
Yeah.
That pit got crazy.
Right
There was
on,
so much
right on.
dust
So
in
that's
there.
Teddy's trademark.
And then I almost had a heat stroke getting off stage, which was fucking great.
yeah, dude, because it was like, dude, it was like 90 degrees out there, but
First
the
time I've heard a
humidity
heat stroke is
was
fucking
terrible.
great, but that's
Yeah.
metal.
No, the humidity was. Oh,
It was
God.
literally like 92 out, but the humidity made it. It was like 105 in the humidity.
Yeah.
We were under, like there was no shade on our stage because of where the sun was, and the sound guy was a Rent to Sound guy, so he didn't even do professional music. He's
just
just
a
like,
fucking dipshit is what
yeah,
it is.
you want reverb?
Really?
I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
stupid
like-
as shit.
And the funny thing about the show actually is that at that time, Adan wasn't actually our drummer at that time. He was actually filling in.
Oh yeah.
And then we decided, like, after we kicked out our old drummer, to bring him in because he really
knows everything.
he took one for us because he wasn't. What was it? You were in a different band at that time, right?
I played lead. Yeah, I played lead guitar in
Ataraxia?
in a
Yeah.
band called Ataraxia at the time. I remember their manager, as the Washington Falls manager at the time.
Old
she
ex-manager.
she messaged me and she was like, "Hey, we're playing the show. And I know you guys are playing the show too, but we're wondering if you would fill in because we have some references saying that you would be a solid candidate." So I was like, "Yeah, it's no problem. You know, I believe you guys deserve just as much a chance at winning as my band does. So I'll go ahead and play the parts." So I ended up playing that show and.
We fucking won.
We won the battle of the bands, and my band wasn't too stoked on that because I was like, guys, I'm going on the All Stars tour, and they were like, fuck you. so
Yeah,
what, needless to say, I'm not in that band anymore because after I played a few shows with As We Watched Them Fall, I kind of went back home after that. And then it was a little while later, I believe in maybe September or so, they contacted me again and they were like, hey, we were wondering if you wanted a full-time position with drums. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm all in. So,
Full-time position. You want to take a drug test?
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
they had me.
Background check.
Yeah,
Background
now,
check
like,
and
dude,
all.
like now it's like it's too late. We're all balls deep into this shit. Like,
Yeah.
there's no going back already. Like, even Abdul being like a month in, he's already like planning like to get all his gear and shit. Like he went in and just like put it in. He's like, all right, I'm here with you guys now. It's like fuck it. Like
Yeah, no, and that's something that we've all had to do recently too. I mean, when I first started playing with them, I hadn't played drums for about a year. Up until my first practice with them, and I was hoping they wouldn't be able to tell, but I'm sure they could.
no, we were able to tell.
Saw the
Yeah.
rust falling off as
Yeah,
well.
no, like, cause I was noticing, I was like, dude, I was like, he has it, but it's like, it's still kind of iffy, and just we didn't know that, like.
Yeah,
like,
so
dude,
I had not played or even touched my drum kit for like a year because I had been just in a completely different situation, wasn't able to, and as soon as I started like playing with these guys, I was like, okay, so now it's not just about me, it's about this band as well. And I started, working on my rudiments, practicing to a metronome every day and just sitting at my drum kit and really putting in the hours and just educating myself, working on theory, working on rhythm, all that fun stuff. So that's kind of what we've all been doing. And yeah, just been making sure that the guitars are also doing what they should be doing.
Right on. So with your classical and jazz training, I want to ask you this since like I kind of explain metal to people who don't understand it quite like this more. I'm like, if you take away the distortion, and just play the music, I'm not talking about like the 3-chord metal that like you hear on the radio a lot.
Oh yeah,
but metal is the most like classical music out of anything that's out there right now besides classical music.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
All right. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't filling people full of shit.
Oh, no, I completely agree with that. I mean, whenever I show people metal, it's so easy for people to overlook how much is musically going on in the genre, because I mean, I can sit here for hours and geek the fuck out on theory and like be showing somebody some music and just be like, do you hear what's going on right here? Do you understand the modulation? Do you hear the key signature? Do you hear the time signature with this part? All this crap. And I mean, people who understand it, they know. They're like, oh yeah, that's fucking amazing.
I don't know if I know. I know I don't know all those things by like definition or whatever, but I probably recognize them without necessarily knowing it.
You understand, like you would recognize it if you heard it and stuff. And this is just terminology that we would use to communicate with each other, with different musicians. But
so you're not like that part, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we could, the arpeggio section or the sweeping section, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think that metal is definitely the most related to classical music and has the most diversity. I mean, I've never heard anything like the stuff that we play or listen to in any rap or hip hop or R&B or anything like that. You don't hear actual instruments and actual music. You don't hear any motion or movement, really. It's kind of just it just stays in the same place, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to say, hey, this is music. What we're doing right now is we're using our minds to actually think about chord structure and think about how we want this to sound. How are we going to get it to sound that way? And are we going to properly execute that? If we can't, how can we figure out how to do that? So it's a working progress. I mean, we're all just really in depth into like furthering our abilities right now. Yeah,
it's like, I don't know. It's just like with a lot of that being said, it's like I don't want to put like no other styles of music down, but like a lot of stuff gets regurgitated. Even like in metal, like it's so easy to throw things out there, just like, and it sounds so similar just because you get so caught up in like these things. Like you have to like keep that like open. Like you keep expanding your mind to all these different things like because there's a lot of great pop music out there, but like it's a lot of the stuff gets regurgitated, and it's so easy to fall into that that cycle, which burns out artists really fast.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand.
Do you find it hard to come up with original stuff because there's so much shit that's already been done?
Yeah, it's definitely sometimes when you have writer's block, it gets really irritating sometimes. So that's why sometimes you have to like take a breather and just kind of like if say you're like working on it for the night and you just can't come up with anything, just like take a few days or a day and then work on something else.
I would say listen to a different genre.
That too.
That definitely helps.
It's a lot of bands nowadays like that play our kind of metal get a lot of the music that they write and influence from pop music, like Katy Perry and shit like that. They'll put that on when they're writing a song, totally put the song away, listen to that for a couple hours, and then all the ideas from those songs will come in their head. They'll go back to what they were writing, and then they'll come up with some crazy ass riffs or some crazy breakdowns or some kind of cool stuff
that just sounds weird to me, but I can kind of understand how it works. But like obviously removing yourself from the metal, then go into what I guess is the opposite of that, the pop music. And
I'll try to like explain that a little bit differently if it helps. Because like bands like instrumental bands like Polyphia, they will listen to pop music and stuff, and that's where that's where they get their influences through. From with their melodies and with their leads and stuff like that. So that I can totally understand if you're getting influences for melodies and leads through pop music and rap and R&B. That's totally like that makes sense. I mean, I personally don't think you're gonna come up with a breakdown. Dude, by listening to that stuff,
Panda.
But okay, you know what?
Dude, that song hits hard. I already thought about genting it up.
but I mean, like I will jam drums to Chris Brown or just to whatever. I actually I did a drum cover of a Tech 9 song once, and that stuff is really that stuff's real interesting because there's so much you can do with all the rhythms. So there's definitely like musical elements in these genres. I don't think they're nearly as advanced and as musically valuable as the elements in our genre, but regardless, they are still musical and still do hold value.
The only thing that I don't understand is that a lot of the rap nowadays, it's like you just like listen to it and you just think like, how did this make it big out of all the music that's in the world?
This is how like, I took a class on popular music in college. Right. Okay. So, it was actually for 2 years actually. Now I'm going back in August. I start college again next month. But
I don't even think I'm old enough to have been in college for 2 years.
Here you are.
Am I?
Yeah.
Wait, you're 20. Yeah.
I started at 18. I graduated high school at 17.
Yeah, dude, you could have gone to college.
Dude, I graduated high school when I was 19.
Okay, we're scrolling.
Yeah.
Graduated high school at 32.
Hey, fuck yeah, that's where it's at, man.
So, popular music now is like, basically, the reason why people like it so much is it's written to be catchy. And so when bands like us go and listen to that kind of stuff, and like Adan said, the riffs and like the catchy melodies in there, we listen to that and then we take those elements of that and we put it in our music, which makes it catchy too. So listening to that kind of music gives us ideas on how to be more catchy and put it into our music and get more listeners, get more people to enjoy it. So throughout the history of music, you can watch like each time, the 50s, the 40s, everything has its own kind of hook that was popular at the time. And no matter what genre you listen to at that time, they all have that similarity to it. So metal of the 70s, the 80s, 90s now, if you listen to the popular music at that time, that metal has a lot of the same influences as the popular music of that time.
I may have to check that out. I have not noticed that necessarily. So what about the 80s, the metal, like a lot of the metal was pop music.
Exactly. You've got synthesized bass and long hair.
Yeah, body glitter and spandex.
Yeah.
A shit ton of glitter.
Body oil.
And body oils.
Yes.
And then you eventually get the spaghetti incident.
What's that?
The spaghetti incident with Motley Crue.
Oh, okay. The spaghetti incident, that was GNR.
No, but that's where it came from, because I guess it was either I believe it was Nikki Sixx, like him and Tommy Lee went like on this thing like on who can not shower the longest and get like the most chicks, and they went 2 months before, I think it was Nikki Sixx had a shower because some girl was like going down on him and she puked spaghetti all over his dick. And it was
What the fuck?
Dude.
I learned something new today.
Dude.
I did too, man. You and me both.
So did I.
Why would you eat spaghetti before going to a concert?
Because spaghetti's
You know you're gonna
good.
suck some rock star's dick. Like,
Why are you blowing that dude if it smells that bad? I mean,
haven't you ever seen the meme where the girl's playing the flute crying?
Dude,
And she's like,
but like, why are you gonna get that close?
No, dude, and
Even okay, you know what? Even me as a guy, even I would be like, you know what?
I haven't showered in 2
For
months.
your safety,
Please do not do it.
Go home.
Maybe it was one of her fetishes or something. Maybe she's like, I really want to puke pasta on a rock star.
You know what? If she would have told me that, then I'd be like, okay.
All right.
If you're into that,
I don't think I would be okay with some.
I'm not
some
judging
chick
you.
throwing
I'd be like, you know
pasta
what,
up on
can't
my
deny
dick.
And then after she does it, you're just like, I preferably requested fettuccine, but that's cool too.
I mean,
I'd be like, red sauce.
I can't tell
Red
if
sauce,
I
you
can't
piece
tell
of
if that's
shit.
spaghetti sauce or
I prefer
blood.
chicken Alfredo.
Okay,
Yes,
so this
Alfredo,
conversation has gotten awful.
Yes.
Let's move on.
Yes. But one more thing.
Okay.
Instead of the spaghetti incident, it could have been known as the spaghetti fetish, and it could have just changed everything.
Yeah,
Right.
Like,
it was.
it'd been a whole different album.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
like no, because I remember like.
And he might not have showered.
The spaghetti incident sounds like a
I don't want
album name for like Dream Theater. Or
I don't
something.
want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this.
Because I remember on
anymore.
MTV.
All
it was
right,
like,
let's move. What do you want to talk
Okay.
about? Let's talk
Okay.
about recording your new album.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been
So how
Been
has that
quite something.
process been?
Long. We've been in Alex Best's studio every weekend for the last since like what May, end of
since
June.
April 23rd.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Holy shit.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Wow, shit. Well, we've been in here since April 23rd every weekend, and it's the middle of July now, and Alex and us are really good friends. Not that we weren't before, but now we're like we know each other.
We got the bro
on other
connection.
levels. So,
Yeah. Alex and I have gotten real close over the past couple months with the way he's been working with me.
we've been gangbanging chicks
fucking
together. No,
it's been awful for him.
we've been running trains.
Because I am very, very tedious and I'm very detailed about a lot of things. So I've been making him work.
It's okay. He gets more push out of it.
I've known Alex since, what, 2012, Alex?
I moved here.
Yeah, I've known Alex since he first moved here, and, like, my band back in the day were like, let's go record with Alex Best. And this is when he had, like, long hair and looked like Jesus. And
Hell
so
yeah.
I was like,
I remember
oh my
that
God.
Alex Best.
I was
Yeah,
like,
you
oh my
remember
God,
that, Alex.
Jesus Alex. And then, so we ended up not recording with him and recording at all. That band broke up. I joined this band, and we went to record our EP, and they're like, where should we go? And I was like, motherfucking Alex Best is where you should go. And so we ended up recording our first EP with him. Our single we released last October, and this full length with him, and we have no regrets, and we're probably going to keep coming back to him.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Not even
even
a single
one.
letter.
Not even a single letter.
I got the reference. I don't remember the name of this show, but
I think it was
Meet
from
the
a
Millers.
Meet the Millers.
Meet the Millers.
That's right.
Yes.
No, but yeah,
That was
Alex.
We're the Millers.
We're the Millers.
We're the
That's where
Millers.
it is.
Yeah, but Alex definitely
Okay.
he has a really good quality sound for what he charges, and I think a lot of people that's in the local scene that's looking to record, they're gonna think it's a lot, but they're getting the quality out of it, and
Yeah.
Alex's quality really shows that. So.
I try not to let people know we go to Alex because I don't want them to go to him. Because I want us to be the artist that like arises from Alex. Like,
No, man,
So-
that's really awesome for Alex's business, by the way.
Well,
I
I
know,
tell
right?
if I
I'm
trust
sure
them,
he's thanking you from
if
afar.
I trust the band, if I trust
In
the
his
band
cardboard
and I
box
feel
in
like
the
they're
house.
good, I'll tell them about Alex. But like when we come to Alex, I'm like, well, if we ever get famous, I want to be able to say, yeah, dude, we record with Alex Best. Like we go to Alex Best Studios. This label's like, all right, you need to go record a record. We're gonna hit Alex up, be like, we need to record a record. Let's
Just be
fucking
like,
do
yo,
this.
we're recording and we need the best.
Pop up the Four Lokos. Let's get
Ah.
down.
Oh.
Shit.
Let's turn up.
I think you just got Alex a new slogan there.
Four Lokos
Yeah.
and chill.
Yeah.
Right there.
That's one of
That's so bad.
his slogan.
So-
only the best.
Only the best. Four Lokos and
Yes,
chill.
not the Four Locos.
Nah, I think you should stick with the Four Lokos, Alex, and chill.
Or that could be his like mariachi band.
Dude, that should be your Tinder
Alex Best.
your Tinder bio. For locals and chill.
Is that your Tinder? Is that what you are on Tinder? I matched with him. It says Four Lokos and chill. This dude's crazy as fuck.
Dude, he probably has Zannies.
It must be real.
Okay.
All right, so Alex, when I had him on the interview, he kind of said that he likes to provide like kind of atmosphere that's kind of stress-free for his bands that are coming in and recording, and like more of like a, I don't know, a environment like you're just hanging out at a friend, like a hanging out environment. Is that is he succeeding in that?
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
little fact
Yeah.
checking.
He's got
Yeah, dude,
couches
We
in here.
hardcore chill.
He's got
Dude,
yeah.
we take
like,
naps.
Half
in
the
here.
time, Teddy's
Yeah.
half the time
So
Teddy
Teddy
passes
takes
out on the
naps.
fucking couch.
So
Teddy naps here.
You pass out more. Like you literally get here and lay down and you're done for 4 hours. Like there's no talking to
You do the same shit too.
because
Yeah. Well,
Hey,
here's the thing.
Hey,
Teddy's
you guys
the
are both
first to
pretty.
fall asleep, and Sean's the next one, and then on rare occasions, me.
Adan never.
Adon's not never
I don't-
asleep.
I don't sleep.
He almost fell asleep once.
And that was
Like
because
I
they're doing
almost
poker.
fell asleep, and then I was like, "You guys cannot shut the fuck up," so I'm not gonna even try. so I didn't try. But no. No.
And then even
we
Abdul,
got
our
some shit
bassist,
done.
he falls asleep.
I mean,
ordered-
and then also, I'm the one that's also like really nitpicky about a lot of things. So it doesn't really matter what we're doing. If we're working on guitars, drums, vocals, bass, I'm usually the one sitting right next to Alex. That's like, yo, we need to take a look at this or whatever it is. So I'm usually the one that's kind of anal about all that stuff.
But it's definitely a chill, stress-free environment. There's couches in here. There's a fucking fan. We order pizza like every weekend.
when we have
it's,
money.
It's definitely very chill. I mean, really, it's kind of just like coming to hang out with one of your friends and just
Paying him to record.
doing what you love to do.
Yeah,
which is music.
exactly. That's
God
really
damn it,
all
Teddy.
it is.
That wasn't me. I swear to God.
Who the
Just-
fuck just shit themselves?
I think that was. I mean, Alex totally just walked by.
Alex
Alex.
was
Dude,
fucking
dude, if
farted.
it was me, you guys would have been pissed off.
I
right
am
now.
glad I'm on this side of the conversation.
I'm pretty sure this is what the A-bomb smelled like. Oh my fucking god.
I think Satan just hopped out of his sleep
Got the fuck out of here.
I'm way the fuck over here.
You're
so.
lucky. Dude,
That
it's
wasn't
like
me.
Somebody punched me in the face with their ass.
All right.
But yeah, it's definitely a stress-free environment.
Unless somebody farts. Fuck.
Exactly.
Alex, you need to provide gas masks.
I'd say more of a toxic environment, if anything.
Yeah, he definitely makes it fun, and I'm pretty sure he's like that with like everybody else as well, not just us.
Provide some
he
mustard
recently had
gas.
Pyrotechnica in here.
Oh yeah.
That's another local band from Tucson, and they're good friends of ours as well, and they love Alex, what they've told us.
Yeah, check out Pyrotechnica. They're pretty great, but fuck Ben.
Yeah, fuck Ben.
I'm just kidding. I'm
We
totally
love
kidding.
Ben.
Ben is
filled
great.
in for us on a couple shows on bass.
Nope. I'm holding you to that.
So
Fuck
I need Ben to hear this now.
Ben, fuck you.
Fuck you, Ben.
Every time
Thanks
we
for
see each
filling in,
other,
but
he
fuck
just tells
you.
us to fuck off. Like he comes to our
that
shows.
might be the name of the show, the episode.
Fuck
you,
off.
Ben.
Fuck you, Ben.
yeah, it's gonna be fuck Ben.
Literally, if
That's
he
it.
comes to any one of our shows, he goes to the front row, and you look at him, and he'll fucking just give you the finger. Be like, fuck you guys. But then he'll
It's
be
great. I
jamming
love
out.
him.
It's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
we love you, Ben,
The
but
dude's
fuck
great.
you too.
He's an incredible bassist too. The dude's
Oh, he's
Shreds.
phenomenal. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed working with that guy because he's like just as much of a music nerd as I am. So.
well, he's a band director now, right?
Yeah, he's a band director,
yeah.
works at Guitar Center on the weekends, part-time.
Yeah, like he teaches music, and I used to teach guitar at a charter school, so we both have like a lot of really similar experiences. So it was really cool working with that dude. But regardless,
Cool.
fuck him. I'm just kidding.
But for the people listening that aren't necessarily, used to the metal scene, like the middle finger is almost like just like waving at somebody.
Yeah, dude, it's
It's
basically
just saying
it's like a
hi.
peace sign.
Literally?
I literally showed up.
It's like,
here
hey,
earlier
buddy,
and
fuck
flipped
you.
off Marshall.
And no,
I
dude,
like you.
It's metal lingo.
Dude,
At our
it
last
just-
show, we literally told everybody to put their motherfucking middle fingers in the air, and all the crowd put their middle fingers in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like,
then the lyric
of course.
is, fuck it.
Yeah,
Or your
we
devil
said
horns.
fuck it,
So.
and then oh yeah,
Yes.
Show me your devil horns. Everybody puts their hands up like that. I was like, fuck yeah. Get the fuck
And
yeah.
tuck your fucking thumbs, people.
Yes, tuck. This is what is this?
This
I
is-
love
That's
you.
I love
This
you.
is
That's
like-
I
We're
love
not
you.
fucking
Right there.
Spider-Man.
Thumb out.
We're not gonna
This
web
is
sling,
metal
okay?
with a thumb in. Now that we got that established, I normally ask my guests a couple questions. Okay.
Cool.
Go for it.
First one is, what advice do you have for any upcoming bands?
Smoke weed.
Smoke weed every day.
No,
Thank
no,
you,
but
Nate Dogg.
I mean, if you
definitely.
want to, you can, but
you need-
Realistically.
as a band, if you're gonna be in a band, you need to have priorities. If you don't put your whole 100% ass in this shit, you're not gonna make it anywhere. You're not gonna write good music. You're not gonna do shit. You're gonna sit there and struggle and then be upset about it. So fucking get off your ass. Practice as much as you can, with and without your friends. Show them your ideas. Listen to their fucking ideas and work together. Because without teamwork, without practice, you're just a bunch of idiots sitting in a room making loud noise and pissing off your parents. Like,
and
that's all
don't be
you are.
immature, because then it's not gonna fucking.
Oh, shut the
work.
fuck
Dude,
up,
but
Marshall.
it's fun.
You're the
No,
one-
no,
what?
I'm not saying like that. I'm saying like don't be like.
Oh, right.
Oh,
When you're
so
writing,
to
when it
take
comes
things
to
like-
music, write serious music.
Oh, yeah.
don't-
Immature
okay.
unless
I
you're a
thought you meant
Attila.
just,
No,
you meant having
I'm
fun.
saying like if somebody doesn't like take something into like consideration, but like to the point like where it's like it's good, but it's like it's not gonna work. Don't get butthurt about it. Just like
I'll go ahead.
accept
Okay.
it and just be like,
Oh.
okay, well we can maybe put it into something else. Like you still keep it in like into thought, but
Work together.
Adan trying to
Be able to take constructive criticism and stuff like
Yes,
that,
exactly.
and know that what you wrote might not work for everything you've done. Right? Is that kind of what you're along the lines
yes,
of?
Definitely.
I have some pretty good advice.
Let's hear it.
Ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
promotion.
You will get fucking nowhere if you do not work for it. Okay? If you don't work for it, if you don't like work your ass off, you're not gonna get anywhere. Like, and I'm not just saying that just to be like, hey, work hard and you're gonna get what you want. Like, you don't just pick things up. You can't go and try and do something you've never learned how to do. So if you're showing up to a band rehearsal or if you're showing up to band practice and you don't know your parts, that's what individual practice is for. And you need to be responsible for yourself and also take into consideration the rest of your band. Because let's say I don't learn my parts And once I get to band rehearsal, everybody is ready to play, and I'm totally fucking up my drum parts. And that's taken away from all of our time. That's taken away from our productivity when we could be spending this time usefully. So really, it all boils down to really identifying what your own problems are. Because there's not always going to be someone there to tell you, hey, you're doing this wrong, this is wrong with your technique. Like, you're going to have to sit there, and this is shit that I've been doing recently. You're going to have to sit there and analyze your own technique, listen to your own playing, record yourself, and listen to it, and just even think, does that even sound good? And if there's anything you can fix, like, go in there and fix it. If you don't know what it is, look it up, ask somebody. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I absolutely love it when anybody asks me for help, because I love helping people, and I don't believe that you should have to pay a ton of money in order to learn an instrument, because I'm entirely self-taught. So if I can help anybody, of course I want to do that. But you gotta have the self-motivation, the dedication, and the ambition to really succeed. And if you don't have those things, and if you don't strive for the very best in yourself, then you're really not improving that much at all. So
another thing is do research on music, on how the industry works and how the scene works. Because if you don't have any knowledge of this, you're throwing yourself into one of the biggest things, one of the biggest industries in the world. Like playing a show. You need to know how much profits you're going to get, how much profits the venue's going to get, whether you're getting ripped off to play this, whether the promoter's ripping you off. And contrary to popular belief, you don't need a fucking label. You need management eventually, but that's if you're a big-ass band or, a touring band. Local bands, you don't need fucking management. Do this shit yourself. Get yourself a band email. Be very
professional about it.
Professional, exactly.
That's a mistake that we
make
learned
friends,
from.
Promote yourself, get connections. Once you have enough connections, then get management. Because then you'll have the connections to hook you up with the right management. Then management will help you get even bigger. And once you're big enough, that's when you start looking for a label. Because the labels will want you. You won't have to go to them. They'll be checking you out. They'll be like, be making offers, not you. So then you can work them up to what you want, and then you're set. Like, you won't be getting ripped off. If you immediately jump into signing a contract for anybody, you're probably going to end up not making any money off any of your albums, making money off only merch when you're on tour, coming home to no job, and